So we're gonna do it. We're gonna give it a shot. I'm gonna pull up the transactions page. You're gonna be able to see transactions post here on the receiving wallet and here with the source wallet. So we're just gonna do this freehand because I've done it a few times. That's the quantity. That's the transaction fee. That's the quantity. So here we go. Look at that. You see them print? That's it. Now you're mining. So those are getting sent out and they're getting received over here, as you can see. So that's great. Hey guys, so I just wanted to welcome you to the video. This is going to be a longer one. There's a few quirks and odd ends about mining BitcoinPoW that are not typical. This is a new protocol with new features, just fundamentally a new concept in a lot of ways. So it requires some new teachings and things like that. So I've tried to keep this video brief. I try to walk you through some of the troubleshooting that may occur during the process and basically just try to make it the most comprehensive tutorial to avoid follow-up questions and things like that. It may take some extra time to look into, but I promise you it's going to be worth it. So with that, let's get started with the main clip. Thanks, guys. Okay, guys. Today we're looking at BitcoinPoW. I've been in this project for about 2 weeks. It's piqued my curiosity for sure. Definitely a new concept in my opinion. Um, there's a lot more I want to expand upon in future videos, but for today, I'm going to try to keep it quick and we're going to get right into how to mine BitcoinPoW. So there's a few things you need to pay attention to that are variables in the equation in terms of mining the most affordably. We're going to get into that in different videos. So I will update the description of this video, and if I'm referring to this future video I want to make, it's going to have to do with the affordability of mining BitcoinPoW, how there's a difference of what kind of value you're investing into the project in hopes of getting block rewards. So with BitcoinPoW, you have to actually pump a little bit of BitcoinPoW into the system just to get your transactions going. And that is what generates the hash rate on your CPU at this point. So, instead of just buying hardware and investing in or maintaining your electric bill, in this case, you're doing those two things on a much lesser scale at the cost of BitcoinPoW, like its native coin. So I don't want to get too far into the weeds on that. I think it's really important to keep this video as brief as possible if I can. So I'm going to see, looks like my screen recording tab is in the way. Okay, there we go. So we're going to make two BitcoinPoW wallets. So how are we going to do that? We are going to go to Windows C. Let's see right here. I'm going to make a folder in Windows C drive. It's going to be called BitcoinPoW. You can call this whatever you want. My personal file is BTCW. I just think it's easier. But for the sake of this video, we'll do BitcoinPoW. So what we're going to do next, just for the sake of demonstration, we're going to go to the website. Here it is. I really like the look. We're going to go down to Windows. It's going to download the most recent version of the wallet. If it shows anything here like, oh, it's a suspicious download, anything like that, I would advise that you scan the file at your own discretion, do your due diligence, your own research. I found that it's a safe file, and so I'm downloading it. Now what we're going to do here, actually, we're going to copy this. We're going to take it to Windows C. We're going to my BitcoinPoW folder, and we're going to paste it right there. And now what I'm going to do, just for the sake of keeping this simple, like I always try to do once this loads. Sorry, my CPU is working a little extra hard today. So it is mining. So look, here's what we're going to do now. We're in the BitcoinPoW folder and type BTCW1. And we're going to get BTCW2. Now you can do as many wallets as your computer can really support It depends on your CPU at the end of the day, how many wallets you can mine from. Just as a small side note, the developer has recommended having a maximum of 35,000 transactions per wallet. So do with that what you will. I would say if you're looking to get anywhere from like 150 to 300,000 transactions, you should have that between 5, maybe 6 to upwards of 10 wallets at kind of a minimum. So, you would kind of run them all alongside each other. I have mine running, but they're kind of my personal ones. So we're just going to open these for the sake of this video. Now, I'm going to include the crucial parts of this guide in, let me see, a second. I'm just trying to, let me see. Okay. Yeah, so that's okay. Cool. Sorry, guys, little disorganization because I'm new to this video screen recording app, and you see how it's not letting me drag this down. So there we go, that'll work. All right, so we did that. We're in here, we made all that. Here's what we do next. So we're getting a command prompt like this, looks just like this basically. It looks similar to what you would typically use to mine on other algorithms. So while you're in the BitcoinPoW folder that we just created, you can see that it's in Windows C and then BitcoinPoW right here. You're going to click on the right side of the address bar, just type in CMD and press enter. It's going to open up kind of a custom location command prompt type of window, and it's going to be already focused on the C drive and BitcoinPoW. So here's what we do. I'm gonna put this phrase in the description of this video, so you can actually just copy it, Control C, and then Control V to paste, and hit enter. Now what that's gonna do is really interesting. I don't know specifically how this stuff works, to be honest with you, but I do know the code and the phrase. Pull up the wallets if you put them in those specific locations. So we got the other one here. This is the phrase for BitcoinPoW2 wallet. So we're going to hit enter again. We're going to open that. Basically now we have the blockchain syncing. Those are my other wallets. Let's see. Okay, here we go. So now we've got, let's see, one active connection on that one. And we've got one active connection on that one. So basically, I'll put those phrases below. There's a lot of other details in this guide. It can be found in the Telegram chat if you want to hit up the Telegram chat. I'll put our link tree as well, so you would be able to see. Let me see. So link tree's here. I like the V2 Block Explorer. That's what I'm going to be checking out here when we go over the fees and things like that, how to navigate that part of this process. Telegram chat is right here. So if you click this and you already have the Telegram app on your phone or computer that you're browsing from, it'll take you right there. We have a lot more filters, activity, bots, and things like that, like good supportive bots that kind of help the chat flow and provide information. Telegram's just a little bit more decked out right now, so I'd advise going over there. You had to choose between one of the two. Now, if you love Discord, you can always hop in there, but it's just not always as active. There's not as much administration in there, things like that. So, I would say Telegram is king for now. And you can get this guide there. So if you want to ask anybody in the chat how to pull it up, this Word document is basically available through that app. It's a little easier to understand what exactly you're doing if you refer to the guide on a step-by-step basis, but I'm just trying to get you guys through quick. So if you want to make multiple wallets, let's say you want a BitcoinPoW 3, 4, 5, 6, you just keep going. The phrase that you used for the BitcoinPoW 2 wallet, you would use, but you just put a 3 at the end, or a 4, 5, 6, and so on. It really depends on your computer and its performance, how many wallets you can run simultaneously. So just keep that in mind. Now let's see. I don't have many connections here, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna try to speed this process up. I'm gonna close my other wallets. Let's see. I hate doing it, guys, because I'm not mining now, but I love helping out the group so we can see how many new members will emerge if they have the right information, right? So I have 0 connections. I'm not sure if closing the other wallets would help. I really don't know, but I figured it has to help. So it can't hurt, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So if you're not connected to any peers, go to your BitcoinPoW1 and 2 inside the BitcoinPoW wallet and Windows for receiving, close all your wallets. Okay, now we're just gonna see. Now you can see these folders were empty when we started, but now they have stuff in them, right? So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna close these. I don't think the anchors dat appears, but we're gonna go to the ban list. Oh, there's the anchors. Okay. We're gonna go to anchors dat. We're gonna delete it. We're gonna go to ban list dat. We're gonna delete it. And peers, delete. We're in BitcoinPoW1 within BitcoinPoW within Windows Drive C. Now we're gonna go to BitcoinPoW2. We're at the anchors. We got the peers, and we got the ban list. We delete those, and it's gonna kind of allow the wallet to refresh. Now, if we're still not connected, you go to Windows Console, paste the following, and hit enter after pasting. This is the command to add the first node, the first official node for BitcoinPoW that's currently running. Might not be forever. Let me see. So I'm going to close this command prompt. We're going to open this one back. This is easy, guys. You get the hang of it pretty quick. Just copying and pasting these phrases. I just saved them somewhere so I don't have to type them back out every time. But you can see already this first wallet had 2 black branches and it has 3 active connections. Let's check this one. 2. Okay. So we're going to do this. We're going to add the seeds while we can. Maybe speed this process up a little. So we're going to go to Window, Console, Paste. So that's seed 1. Now for the rest of the seeds, there's 6 that I know of. So you just type a 2 where there was a 1, and you hit enter. We're going to do this all the way up to 6 on both while the blockchain syncs. It's like anybody would expect. When you get an early entry or early exposure to a project, a lot of things are not going to be streamlined. Now, I would typically and personally prefer to have to go through a little bit of an inconvenience in crypto and have that advantage. So anybody out there that's just thinking, oh man, I don't know, this is kind of a new concept. I don't know if it's for me. The new concepts are typically the most recent innovations in the space. It's definitely, advantageous to get involved. So, these adding the nodes doesn't work immediately. I find with the current network status, it doesn't take super long for the wallets to sync. Now, you can see that one of mine is ahead of the other. It's probably because of a connection issue, one form or another, or they're just going one at a time. I think when this one finishes, this one will start. It's been a while since I've done this, so I really don't know. But now it's kind of picking up steam. You see that? When the wallets run for at least an hour, they tend to have 10 peer connections in this bottom little section right here. Something else to note, you're going to want to see this lightning bolt turn black in the middle of the shield right there where my cursor is. You can see how it says not mining on the corner of the first wallet. So we're just going to let this sit. This is a new video recording software, so I don't really know how to pause the recording. I only know how to keep it going. So I'm going to try to see if I can run through the rest of the instructions, kind of familiarize everybody with them. So we entered seeds 1 through 6. You still have a hard time connecting, you can contact Fluffy Functions. So this guy is, he's like the lead developer for BitcoinPoW. I haven't talked to him much, but he's a really interesting, insightful guy. Seems to have a concept on his hands that it's very new, very unique, very practical, very scalable, in my opinion. So let's see. Yeah, once the wallets get set up, you got to generate a receiving address, deposit your BitcoinPoW there. Might be able to get BitcoinPoW from a friend. More likely, you'll need to buy some on the open market. So we only have a few small listings right now, but we're getting a bigger one soon on DexTrade. If you're seeing this video, you're probably coming in from DexTrade exposure, curious about the project. I would welcome you here, kind of get a feel for things. You're going to have a source wallet and a mining wallet. you're going to be sending from the source wallet over to the mining wallet. The mining wallet is going to accumulate those transactions. They serve as its stake in the network, essentially, and gives you a standardized hash rate based on the quantity of transactions that GUI wallet is basically liable or responsible for on a percentage basis. Like what percentage of the total transactions are in that wallet. And that can partially determine your hash rate. The other part is going to come down to hardware, electricity, things like that. So it's not a simple equation. It's not a single equation. It's kind of a culmination of many different things. I really wish this second wallet would load faster, but we're going to see what we can do. Luckily, the source wallet is the one that's syncing, which is the one I need right now. But I'm going to pause this. If I mess up the report, actually, here we go. So we're going to create a new wallet. This is the next step in the process. You have to kind of give it a name, so we're going to call it the source wallet because it is going to hold the majority of the BitcoinPoW that we use to mine. And then you can have a long-term storage wallet. Personally, my source wallet is my storage wallet. So you'll get a feel for these terms. They're a little unique. It's kind of specific to this project. And I think things are going to change pretty fast. There might be a handful of forks of this one in the next couple of years. But again, I don't mean to get on a tangent. So we got the source wallet here. I'm not going to put any of these checks. We're just going to create it. Keep it simple. So there we go. We got a receiving address generated. You go to the receive tab and then you click create new receiving address and it's right here. This is it. When you copy it, it's just there. I'm going to go to the top of this document and I'm going to put that address there. And here's what I'm going to do also, another important tip. We're going to check it out here. If you don't want to create multiple receiving addresses, you have to pull up your previous one here. You go to Window, Receiving Addresses, 1DP, KJ. Does that match? 1DP, KJ. So we got the whole address there. I'm going to send some BitcoinPoW over to that so that we have a little bit of BitcoinPoW to work with. And then I'm going to wait for this wallet to completely sync. Hopefully we have a couple more peer connections here. As you can see, that is somewhat related to how responsive and integrated your wallet is in the network. I guess that's a layman's way of saying it. Ideally, you want at least 4 connections per wallet for mining. And as you can see, this one doesn't seem to have any right now. So let's see. We added the nodes, deleted the files. I'm going to see, sometimes just waiting it out, these connections come, especially when you create a brand new wallet. I think they have a harder time finding nodes to connect to initially, but after you've ran it several times, the connections just come very, very fast. So I haven't really encountered this problem since I started mining and since I started getting involved in accumulating BitcoinPoW for this community. So let me get back to you guys in a bit. I'm going to pause this video, get a balance on this wallet over here. I'm going to name this one the same way that you saw, generate an address, all that stuff, and we'll get started from there. So I will be back. Let me see if I can reduce this window a little bit. And okay. So, close these back up. Should have probably done that before I recorded, but no big deal. Let's see, are they all closing? Last one. Okay, we're going to go to the demo wallets now. So like I said, we're going to name this one mining wallet 1. You can have multiple of these. You can have multiple sending or source wallets as well. We're going to go to receive. Here's the address. I just go to this document because it's the first one, but I would suggest putting them in a safer place. I have like a document here with basically all the different functions and things, phrases that are useful so you don't have to find them everywhere. I just save them in a notepad document. So what we're going to do now, we're going to get this address, for the mining wallet, the receiving wallet. I'm gonna hold on to that. We're gonna go to the next step. So here we go. In the GUI wallet, we got, okay, and I told, okay. So we usually would put this in the notepad document. As you can see, I have a similar phrase right here. So we're just gonna put that down here instead today. Oh, you can see my, there we go. Okay. So we're gonna type TX space, because we're in a Word doc, I gotta do that. So TX quotes, we're gonna do Control V. There's the wallet address. Now you're gonna want to send the minimum quantity of BitcoinPoW per transaction, because you just don't want your coins tied up in the mining transactions, because if you want to get credit for those transactions, you cannot use the coin control feature to select them and then send them back to retrieve them, because it'll actually revert the transaction. As far as mining is concerned, you won't be credited with that transaction anymore. So it's always best to do the smallest unit possible. I think it's group consensus that it's actually 5 decimals and a 1, or 4 zeros and a 1. So the 1 is the 5th decimal. So this first number in this 3-number phrase, you can see it's 0.00001, then there's a space, 1000 space 1000. So the first numerical phrase represents the quantity you want to send per transaction when you basically make use of the, what's it called, the code script that's going to automatically send transactions for you with each block height. So next is the fee. So for the fee, let me make sure. Okay, yeah. So 1 space. Make sure there's not 2 spaces in here, guys. So for the Explorer, right? Like I said, I go to the LinkTree right here is the URL. I'm going to put that in the description of this video. I would click BitcoinPoW Block Explorer V2. I think they made the microscope a little bit higher definition because it just gives a closer look. It's an updated block explorer. So I'm going to refresh this to get the newest data. So it looks like the smart fee for a transaction to be processed in 1 block is 2,800 Satoshis per VB. If you want it within an hour, you do 2,000, but you really want to have your transaction fee slightly higher than the network average for the next block. Seems like this is the predicted next block for fees to be in this range. So what we're going to do to play it safe, we're going to go back. Now, it's pushing 2,800. I'm going to say 3,000. You might even want to say 3,100. Go up like 10%. But for this video, we'll keep affordability in mind. We don't want to waste any BitcoinPoW, but anyway, we're gonna do kind of a demo transaction. I typically do 10,000 at a time and just let it run. If my computer stayed running, I wouldn't want it to run forever and deplete all my BitcoinPoW or overload a given wallet, a given mining wallet, because eventually you want them to cap out at about 35 to 40,000 transactions. So I put a maximum of 10,000 there. For this video, I'll just do 1,000. Really doesn't make a difference as long as you check your wallets every couple hours. So I'm going to go here. We're going to go back to overview. Now here's where you enter the command. You go to console, okay? And then you go right here. We copied the phrase that we created. We're going to go to the console. Here's the wallet, by the way. And you're going to watch this happen right now. So basically, when I paste this command, it's either going to test send 1 transaction until the next block and see that it can't push through the block, or that it can't get a transaction processed within that block. So it's just going to wait until the next block height. So let's hit enter and see what happens here. So as you can see, it gives a prompt that says null. That's an indication that the command has been received. It's kind of a strange phrase, but that's what they used to say in the Bitcoin Core wallet, I guess. So my first transaction is still processing. Let me see. Let me make sure that I went to the console of the right wallet. I did. Okay. So let me see. We got 2 active connections. I was expecting more. One active connection. It's good to do a little bit of troubleshooting, maybe not on camera, but let's see. Um, the thing is, guys, this is something to keep in mind. When the wallet is running for at least 30 to 60 minutes, it's going to get more connections. You can see that that little black branch came out. If you rewind a couple seconds, it's starting to push for more connections. But right now, I think that function is limited to an extent. So 16 AT, and that is our address. So normally, let's see. Yes, this should be working. Definitely. Yep. Okay. Yeah, I'll be back. I'll let you guys know what the potential issue was. And, this is very uncommon in my experience. I think it's because it's a new wallet and it has to kind of, I guess, trailblaze for those first peer connections. Once they're established, it's much easier to get them. But I'm going to try troubleshooting by reconnecting these nodes, and I'm going to delete the anchor, the peers, and the other DAT file. I'd have to go back to the guide to check, but I'm going to delete those. I'm going to restart these wallets and see what we get. So I'll be back momentarily. Okay, so we're going to try this one more time. I still don't have the connections. If you check the timestamp in the bottom right corner of this video, really hasn't been that long, but I just wanted to see if I could get this to work. So we're going to go to the transactions page. In case this command works, it's going to print like a bunch of transactions here. I thought that would be interesting for you guys to see. And okay, so maybe they updated it so it doesn't send the test transactions. So what we're gonna do, this is good to show you guys how to navigate these things while you're mining, trying to get transactions processed. We're gonna check. So there was a block about 5 minutes ago. I must have barely missed it. It looks like it's 99% full with transactions already. So yeah, it's a very strange thing. I'm gonna keep you guys updated. I guess the next time that I unpause the recording or resume the recording, I'm gonna look for at least 4 to 6 active peer connections on each wallet so that we don't get hit with this delay. So sorry for that, guys. I'll be back shortly. All right, guys, so this was where I received the coins from. I think that they have to confirm for 6 confirmations. We're on the 5th one. I'll resume the video when we have 6 confirmations. Despite the coins saying they're available, I'm not sure if they're available to be spent immediately upon receiving like this. I usually have a little extra in my balance, so when I receive new coins and I want to send them somewhere else, I usually have more than enough to get them moved over. So for this console command, I think you might need the deposit to fully mature. We're gonna find out shortly. Additionally, I'm just trying to give you guys some, additional information to help you along the way. Things I'm noticing with the one active connection to Bitcoin network, you may be able to add some peers. So we're gonna look. Here we go. So it's loading the peers. Let's see. So we are going to get this right here. Let's see how this works. We're going to try to connect. So we're going to add node, add. There we go. Now we're going to do that same thing over here. And we'll see. I'll let you guys know how this goes. Hopefully we get some extra connections shortly. Let me see if this will work too, actually. Because if it does, okay. So it only needs to be no quotations. I think they allow it either way because the only error is that I already added this node. So, you can probably add a bunch of these. I know port 8555 is helpful, but it says network limited for these. Let's see. I'm gonna try to connect. Let's try this one. 1498555. These are just things you might run into, guys, when you're starting this out. I would not give up. That's all I'm trying to tell you. Okay, there's another. Okay. All right, guys. Connected to one of them seems to look a little better than the other based on some of these net metrics, network limited, etc., all that kind of stuff. So we'll see if either of them end up being helpful for us. And when I got more connections or when those coins mature to the next confirmation, I will be back. You can always check. I'm going to make this a little more comprehensive, something that helps. You might get notifications in your bottom right corner of the screen that you're sending or receiving transactions. That's great. But another way you can tell, this is going to show the age of the block, right? It's going to be how long it's been since this block height was reached. So it was 5 minutes, and it took 3 minutes to mine, which means that the following block is currently 2 minutes old, right? So this all makes sense as you look it over. These are the times that that block height was reached, etc. So yeah, if I refresh to see it's 12:02, it's going to say 6 or 7 minutes. See, 6 minutes. So it's very easy to keep track of like the progression of the block height. Um, and I guess that's all I got to say for now. So when the next block height is reached, I'll be back so that we can start the process of sending transactions, and I'll give a more comprehensive explanation of how that works and why it helps you mine. But for now, we're just looking to go over the basics. You can tell I already trail off a little bit, so I'll try to keep on topic, and I'll be back shortly. Thanks, guys. Okay, guys, so as you can see, the one that got reached at 4:55 has concluded. We have a new one about 2 minutes ago. If I refresh this, it should probably say 2 minutes. There we go. So I'm going to personally check with you guys on how things are looking. So we have 6 active connections on the Bitcoin network. I think this one's going to increase as it goes, and it's already at 3, which is great. And our transaction is fully confirmed. So what we're going to do. Oh, we don't even need that. So let's see. Man, you guys probably can't see it, but there's a big recording bar right there, and it's totally in my way. Okay, so let's get that. Let's go back. I like the Explorer for a background on this. It's kind of nice. So we're gonna go to the Transactions tab. So if this command does execute, boom, you're gonna see a bunch of transactions pumping through here. So we are in the console again. We are pasting this, and boom. Let's see. Okay. I'm probably gonna need to go back to the drawing board on this one, guys. I don't know. Um, hmm. Only one space there, right? Yep. So all good things to check, guys. But this is really surprising how it's working like this because normally I don't have any sort of issue getting this command started. All right, I'll be back. I'll let you guys know. Okay, guys, so we are back. It is the following morning at 9:30. I guess you can check what time we left off. It was probably about 11 hours ago. Um, as you can see, we have full connection. Actually, with the extra peers that we connected to, the nodes that we connected to, we have the most connections I've ever had on a wallet. So we're looking at 12 active connections. That should be great. I spoke with the developer. It's important to know that the wallets are synced up to the current block as well on both wallets, not just one. So currently our block height, if we check, this is a good way to verify, it's 3672. So let's check in the bottom right corner, 3672, 3672. So this should work. So we're going to do it. We're going to give it a shot. I'm going to pull up the transactions page. You're going to be able to see transactions post here on the receiving wallet and here with the source wallet. So we're just going to do this freehand because I've done it a few times. That's the quantity. That's the transaction fee. That's the quantity. So here we go. Look at that. You see them print? That's it. Now you're mining. So those are getting sent out and they're getting received over here, as you can see. So that's great. Let's see. So if you do the math, basically a 0.1 BitcoinPoW with when you send this quantity is actually 10,000. So if we go back, we got 1,100. So it just sent 25 transactions to the mining wallet. Now, what I would say is it's about average for a smaller wallet that doesn't have many transactions under it. I think it depends partially on your transaction fee and partially on how many transactions have been sent through a particular wallet. In my experience, especially in the beginning, the more transactions you had coming out of a wallet, the more throughput it had to send more of them. So it wasn't uncommon for me to send 150 to 180 transactions a time when the fees were much lower and the rates were much less competitive. Now, an interesting tip is to have multiple source wallets and multiple mining wallets on multiple computers so that you don't override or overrun like a single computer's processor. And you can get a lot more transactions put through that way. If you have a couple spare computers, it's a great idea to send a couple BitcoinPoW to each source wallet, maybe 10 to 20 in each one, and just put them on auto, have them sending to a given mining wallet on your preferred PC. For example, I have my nicest computer here. I don't know, it's about a $1,500–$1,600 computer, decent CPU, decent GPU, all that. So because the CPU is better than all my others, I have my mining wallets on here because it can handle the highest number of transactions and kind of process the most information, yield the highest hash rate. So my other two smaller computers serve as source wallets, which don't require as much computing power because they just don't tax the CPU nearly as much. So as you can see, even with just these two wallets and my other processes running, I'm at about 15. When I have 4 wallets running with 35,000 transactions in each one, which is what I'm currently looking at, my CPU gets about a 40 to 50% load on average. If I'm not mistaken, that might be the high point because it varies drastically by the second. But that's that. And if I did nothing, these transactions do not give you the option to increase the fee or abandon the transactions. So these would very likely go through. And another way you can check is to right click, show transaction details. If it says that it's in the memory pool, you're very likely to get that transaction processed, whether it's in the next block or the next hour. It's just very likely. So anyway, what we're going to do next is we're going to go to the transaction zap. So what this does is if you accidentally send a transaction without a sufficient transaction fee, you could have transactions like this that you can't abandon, you can't opt to get out of, that are actually kind of clogging the throughput of your wallet. So you're unable to send a sufficient or decent number of transactions or any transactions from your source wallet if you didn't use a sufficient transaction fee on the previous batch of transactions. So what we're going to do is we're going to type txzap, and here's exactly how it works. We're going to press enter, and immediately, because this had so many or so few transactions, I've done this on wallets that have like 20, 30,000 transactions, and it takes about a minute, maybe less, for it to print this field right here. But it's showing all the transactions that it basically is removing and reverting. So I don't know if the next block just printed or if the next block height was just reached. It was. Okay. So that's why it looks like these are confirmed. So that was just really weird timing. But there were probably these two or something. Well, no, it was multiple. So I'm curious to see how this plays out, but we actually just did the TX app when the new block height was reached. So all these got put through and confirmed actually instead of being reverted. So I'm gonna see if they're erased. You can still follow along and see how this is done. So the next step you're gonna want to take, I don't know how long it's gonna take for these peers to come back, but it really doesn't matter at this point in the video. Just so you guys know, if I didn't mention already, now we have 13 active connections. That's great. I left this running overnight. You probably don't need to leave it running that long to get the sufficient 4 to 6 peers. But if you leave it for a while, it's going to just get more over time, especially if you connect to the peers or nodes like I did through the console up here. If you see where I was typing some of these seed and all that kind of stuff. So I'm going to X out of here. This is a part of the TX or transaction zap function. We're going to X out of here and we are going to see what we got here. We are going to go to BitcoinPoW, BitcoinPoW1. Now we are at the BitcoinPoW1 folder. This is your source wallet in the BitcoinPoW folder in Windows C. And we're going to go to the mempool.dat. Let me go back so you can see. This is your Windows C. This is what it's going to look like. I usually like BTCW for my folder name. Just remember that. But for this video as a demo, I just typed it out. So we're going to BitcoinPoW. This is your source wallet. Here's your mempool.dat. You're going to click that once and hit delete. Now that's deleted. Now we're going to go back. Let me see. Yep, this is it. Okay. So we're going to start those wallets back up now that we've done that. Now, if there were transactions that didn't have a sufficient fee, they would essentially be deleted at this point. So let's see. Okay. So we actually got another block. Let's see. Yep, see, so the blocks are coming in pretty fast now. That's why these are confirming so quick. So what I'm gonna do is I am gonna actually use an insufficient transaction fee, something that I know isn't gonna go through. There we go. So now it's gonna print a bunch of those at a 500 Satoshi per VB. And I'll bet you, check it out. So it was 70% of 1% of a BitcoinPoW. Now we're looking at 11% of 1% of a BitcoinPoW. So it's about 5 times lower of a rate. And if you see, standard fee is 3,000 right now. Just about to get through a block. Hash rate is just going nuts still. I can't believe it. But okay. Basically, I highly doubt these will get through. All right. Show transaction details. It's in the memory pool somehow. But what we're going to do is we're going to try to get rid of these. So let's see. I want to show you guys how this works. Huh. Hold on. Okay. Well, for better or worse, it's either going to push the transaction through. It initiated the confirmation right here, if I'm not mistaken, or a new block height was reached. Somehow this got accepted. We're going to run through one more time. I can't reproduce the error if this is the case, but what I can say is that the steps I'm doing, regardless of whether the transactions go through or not, is the proper procedure if you're kind of stuck. So what we're going to do is we go back, go in here. And so the memory pool doesn't have a log yet for the source wallet because these transactions were not confirmed yet. So I think we could make this video a little more concise, but it's really comprehensive in the sense that if you're a newbie, it's going to get you through very easily. It's going to take a little extra time to watch this, but it's definitely worth it because you get a feel for how this thing works. And as you can see, guys, this is your mining wallet, right? As indicated. And it shows that we are CPU mining and we have 4 active connections on the Bitcoin network or the BitcoinPoW network. This is working to the extent that it has. So it has 40 transactions in it. If you leave this TX on auto, okay. Now if you leave this on auto, it's gonna put through, let's see. Yeah, so we're in the middle of a block, so it's not sending, but as soon as the next block height is reached, it'll send another batch. This just takes time, but essentially you are gonna get you're gonna get like a couple thousand transactions here a day at a minimum if you have the transaction fee set high enough. And your goal is to get this wallet to about 40,000, maybe 35,000 transactions, and then you start a new one. Like I said before, you can go here, and if I wanted, I could make a new folder in my BitcoinPoW, BTCW3, and let me actually, here we go. I'm gonna do this for the sake of the video. It's like, that's my personal, but we're gonna open the new one that I just made. You see how quickly I just made that? All I had to do was create the BTCW3 folder, and I had to change my little text phrase to BTCW3, and it's creating a new wallet right now. So if you ever fill up your mining wallet with transactions right here, you know that you can just make a new one. So long as you have the CPU to handle it. So I'm gonna X out of that for now. Guys, this was like, probably the first tutorial in English on YouTube that we have. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the comments section. I'll include the link tree, a BitcoinPoW donation address if you're looking to support the creator of this video, who's me. I'm looking to make future videos on BitcoinPoW. Really excited to be in this project. I wish the mining was a little simpler to explain. I feel like it's a simple process, but it just takes a while to get everything covered, at least for me. So in the future, we'll zoom right through this if possible. If not, I'm going to get into a deeper dive on the fundamentals of the project, different aspects of mining that are a little shorter, things like that. But with that said, thanks for your time. I hope you guys have a good rest of your day and happy mining.